Bit of a different video today. The car I want to be working on is just here. I want to be working on my EV. Instead, I'm going to be working on the family bus. This thing has been a nightmare since we bought it. We've had a series of Renault Scenics that have been incredibly reliable until this one. We bought this sight unseen because there aren't many Grand Scenics around with the engine combination we wanted. Bought it sight unseen. Since then it's needed a new starter motor, a new clutch, and now the windscreen wipers have failed. They go all out of sync. Common problem on these apparently, I suspect due to water ingress getting stuck in the scuttle. So today's mission is to try and fix that. First of all, get in there, get the scuttle off, have a look at the motors, and maybe replace them with some second-hand units I've got in the back. Sadly, not cheap. Overalls on, first job then, bonnet up, battery disconnected, see if I can work out how to get the scuttle off. Stupid machine. Well, that part was pretty straightforward. A couple of 10mm nuts to disconnect the battery, a couple of T20 screws to remove here, and a plastic trim removal tool to pull these plastic securing, what they called, plastic connectors here anyway. And we can, I think, withdraw this piece of plastic, and there is one of our motors. Now I think this one's actually okay. I think it's the near side one, the passenger side one, that's bad. Whoops. But we'll have to see. Let's have a look under here. Now I was expecting to find a load of water in here, and there's a load of muck, and it clearly has been wet in there, but no obvious signs of damage. So it looks like we probably need to remove this piece of trim to take it out as well, to get to that nut more easily. So next job, we're going to remove, looks like, these 10mm here. Maybe. Maybe that's more work than it's worth. We shall see. Let's see what we can do. That was a little more awkward. I couldn't get this. Eventually realised I did need to take this piece of plastic off. It doesn't require as many bolts as I thought at first. There's probably some at the back there, but just to lift it up, it's just two 10mm bolts here. and then these plastic trim clips here. Fortunately I couldn't get that one out, it was bending but wouldn't pop, but I managed to lift, by taking the other side off, managed to lift the plastic up enough to get the socket on there because I was just getting nowhere with the spanner. And I found what I expected to find. If I crank this light up, you can probably see there is water in the scuttle there all the way across, and I suspect this is the cause of, we also have an intermittent braking fault. There's nothing wrong with the brakes, but it keeps throwing a fault on the handbrake, and I suspect this is all down to blocked drains that I'm going to clear while I'm here. So before I do anything else, I think we're going to remove this piece of electronics here, whatever that is, and see if I can get at the drains and clear those. Right, the alarm sounder out the way, and actually it turns out I didn't really need to take it off because the drain is just about here. I'm running out of hands, but I can get my fingers in it and it's just full of sludge. It's pretty disgusting. I can just about hear water starting to run down the inner wing. Right. There you go. That's the top bit of it. And there we go, and the water's drained. So what I'm going to do on this is what I did on my Alpha GTV. This flap is a great idea. It stops stuff coming up from below, but actually all it does is create a trap for stuff coming down from the top. So I think I'm probably gonna, it's half off anyway, I'm probably gonna cut that off before I replace it. Give it a good clean up all around, wipe all the mud out, put some WD-40 in there to give it a bit of protection, and then put this drain back and do the same thing on the other side. And then the question is, do I try and rescue the existing wiper motor? Before I give it, I'm going to vacuum any dry bits I can and come over here and get that with a vacuum cleaner as well. And then, as I say, give it a coat of WD-40, prevent any rust, and try and keep things moving. Also make it easier to get stuff out if I need to get in here again. I'm not sure if I'm just spoiled by, or rather have low expectations based on working on very old cars, 30-year-old, 20-year-old, 5-year-old cars, but all the bolts and nuts were really, all the nuts and bolts were really easy to undo. They were all, I would almost say, loose. I do wonder if someone's been in here not that long ago. Look at all the muck in the strut top. That's not nice. Get the vacuum cleaner in there and see if we can get some of that out as well. I did think about trying to take this apart, see if the electronics are damaged, and I might still do that at some point, but it is RTV'd up the wazoo. It's going to take me a while to crack that, even with the screws out. The screws came out pretty easily. I'm guessing, you know, they're in an aluminium casing. They're not going to have rusted together, even though their heads are rusted. Not too badly, but you know, enough. So I'm going to work on the basis that this is balked, and I'm going to maybe have a play at some other point, and I'm just going to swap both sides, put both new ones in, give us the best chance of it working, most importantly so that I can crack on with fun projects instead. So replacement is the reversal of removal. as I think the manuals used to say, or refitment is the reversal of removal, something like that. Anyway, so first things first, we've got to get our alarm sounder in. That was what came out, that bit of electronics that was tucked back there. Get that back in first, along with our nice clean drain with the flap removed. Didn't actually have to cut that off in the end. It's just, it's held on by that little tab. So I've pulled that off, pop that back in. And then our good, in theory, used replacement windscreen wiper motor. Why not go for new, you say? £360 a side, new. Absolute insanity for a little motor and a little package of electronics. So I bought an apparently good used pair on eBay. I have got the right to return them. I paid, I think, instead of £360 a side, I think I paid £350 a pair. There were individual ones available, but they do have to sync with each other. And although you can make them sync, I figured why not buy a pair and then at least I can return them both if things don't go to plan. So I'll get this in now, get it all screwed back up, and then do the other side. There we go, one side done. Now to repeat on the other side. Look at that, completely solid all the way through with muck. Come on, focus. That's why there was a lot of water in the scuttle. This is the one from the driver's side, by the way. Just a quick note, one of my replacement motors was missing the middle of the bush. These push in on the back side. You see that one goes in there, it's slotted. So they go in on the back side, which is the other side. They go in this side. And so you tighten down from here and you're not crushing the rubber, you're crushing onto the centre of the bush. So just in case you buy a second-hand replacement, it may be missing the middle of that bush as well. Just pull it off the existing one. All the trim's back on, the battery's reconnected. Last thing to do before I put the wipers back on is to put them into park mode. So you've got to move both wiper motors up to the vertical position so that you know that when you've put the wipers back on, they're not going to clash with each other. Probably should have done that before I started, but you can do it just as easily now. So jump in, turn the car on, put the wipers in 0 mode at the top of the lever, turn the car off, drop it down to 2, and immediately after you turn the car off, and the wipers should go vertical. So I've been told. To have worked. We saw the wipers moving after the car was switched off when I put it down to 2. So it looks like this should be in the vertical position now, so I can reattach the wipers and keep my fingers crossed. Time for the big moment then. Do we have working windscreen wipers? You're going to find out at the same time I do. Slightly nervous. That would be a no. Right, let's try the synchronization process again. This time I've put some bits of tape on the winders. I think both wipers are pointing to the bottom. Let's see if we can make them point to the top following instructions. Still very much pointing to the bottom. And there we go. I was just a bit too quick putting it into two. Both of those are now set to the top and we can reattach the wipers. One more time. Let's see if I've got it right this time. Close, very close. As you can see, they're not coming down quite enough, so they just need to be angled in a little bit from the side of the car. I got them a little bit too vertical then. So I'll pull them off once more, align them slightly better, and then we're done. And there we go. Whoa, hello. Windscreen wipers fixed. That saved me, what's that? Well, new parts would have been 720 and I paid 350. So 370 quid on parts by using used ones. And labour, someone on the forums, and this is from 3 years ago, reckons the dealer charges £130 a side plus VAT in order to fit them. So that's a minimum of another 260 quid. 630 quid saved? No, 610, I don't know, 600 quid saved anyway. I'll cope with that. Not the job I wanted to do. I reckon without filming it would have taken me about, well, it's taken me 2 hours with filming. I reckon it probably would have taken me an hour and a half without, something like that, maybe slightly less, maybe slightly more. And that's a job that one car dealer told me these cars are written off for. If they're not worth that much, if they're a bit tired and they're high miles and they need that much labour and both of those windscreen wiper motors swapping, might be the end of the car. So maybe there's some bargains out there to be picked up. Anyway, thanks for watching. No, it's not my usual fare, but maybe somebody will find it useful. If you want to see some EV stuff, much more exciting, then hit that like button and please do subscribe. Thanks for watching.